We are today doing a Pesach special. So we probably will end up in this Gemara. What Gemara is it?
Pesach.
And the two main characters in this Gemara is in the beginning of the 6th Perek, Rabbi Akiva, the famous Rabbi Akiva, who was a Talmud of Rabbi Eliezer Hurkanis. Rabbi Akiva, the first 40 years of your life, did you do anything good in Torah and mitzvos?
Not much.
Did you like Talmidei Chachamim?
No, I never liked rabbis.
And your expression was, if I see one, I would love to bite him. That's called a real hatred.
Right.
But something happened when you were 40. What happened?
I was passing by and I saw...
You were a shepherd.
Right.
You had to make money. You were a shepherd for one of the richest men in Yerushalayim. You were a shepherd by Kalba, I spelled that wrong, Kalba Savur. One of the richest men, and he had a big farm, and you were a shepherd. He also had a daughter, Rachel. Rachel looked out of the window and saw you being very nice to the sheep. You were also very nice, cordial, and happy with all the other shepherds. She said to you, I want to marry this girl, Rachel.
Yes.
And what did Rachel tell you?
She's not going to marry me until I'm going to become a Talmud Chacham.
Okay, so you went to yeshiva. You went to yeshiva first for 12 years, and you left her alone. And one neighbor pounded on the door and said, where's your husband? And this was a day where you were coming back to your wife, and your wife gives out a yell at the man, I don't care if my husband goes back for another 12 years, I'll be very happy. And what did you do?
I came home.
No, you went back for another 12 and 12?
24 years.
Okay, then you came back with 24,000 Talmidim. And basically at 3:30 in the afternoon, we may have the film, if the rage cooperates, of her coming to meet you. And she was dressed very unpresentable. She was starving. Even when she was with you in the beginning of the marriage, you were sleeping on straw.
Because her father disinherited.
Yes, thank you. When Kalba Sabur knew you, and he said, he's an Amoritz, I can't have him as a son-in-law, so he disinherited his daughter. But after 24 years, this man came to the city of Kalba Sabur with 24,000 Talmidim. And everybody came out to welcome Rabbi Akiva. And when Rachel, his wife, came and saw him, what happened? She approached him, and the Talmidim, your students, pushed her away. And you came up with the line, my learning... What's the line? My learning and your learning is her learning.
Right.
And you gave her a crown. And then the Talmidim were a little jealous. And again, you told them she deserves it. Okay, so then the Gemara relates that 13 of your years you were learning by Rabbi Eliezer Hurkanis. Rabbi Eliezer Hurkanis knew you were about Tshuva. So he let you sit in the classroom. And you absorbed like a sponge. And in the 13th year, you started acting up and asking him questions. And Rabbi Eliezer said, I don't know the answers. I don't know the answers. He was elderly. I'm elderly. I'm Rabbi Eliezer Hurkanis. And there are many stories where Rabbi Eliezer Hurkanis went against the tradition of the rabbis. There's a Gemara that he was made permissible an oven and said it's not Makabel Tumah. This oven, if it's touched by a sheretz, by anything that's coming, will not become defiled. All the rabbis said it will become defiled. Rabbi Eliezer Hurkanis gives a scream out. If the halacha is like me, if the law is like me, I want this stream to go uphill. The stream went uphill. He said, if the halacha is like me, I want even the wall of the Beis Medrash to fall in. And that's a tremendous penalty. The Talmidim, so that the wall started falling halfway. He said, if I want a baskol, I want the voice from heaven to tell us who the halacha is like. and the voice from heaven said, "Allah is like Rabbi Eliezer Hurkenes." Rabbi Eliezer Hurkenes is the person's name. Rabbi Akiva was a student. So here they put him in Cherem. The rabbis said, "You don't listen to us, you're in Cherem." And they picked you to tell Rabbi Eliezer he's in Cherem. And you walked in, and I said to you, "Why are you coming today? You haven't been here in weeks." And you said you have the bad news that the rabbis put you in excommunication. You have a dialogue with Rabbi Akiva in the first Mishnah in the 6th Perek. And we're going to turn to the 6th Perek, and we're going to find out it's about Pesach, because this video is called a Pesach special. Just to remind us, what's the big commandments we do at the Seder?
We do a lot of things. Pay Pesach, once and more.
Let's start the first one. What do you mean by Pesach?
We talk about Exodus from Egypt.
Okay, and we unfortunately don't have a temple. But when we do have a temple,
Bring a carbon.
everybody was bringing a little sheep. And maybe when we go back to the base Knesset here, there's a beautiful picture of the people all lining up and walking down to Jerusalem with their with a lamb. Okay, now this Mishnah talks about what happens if the first day of Pesach is Sunday.
Right.
So these people would have to give the sacrifice when?
On Shabbat.
Shabbat. Excellent. And Rabbi Eliezer has a derivation for this. Let's look at the 6th Perek and see what he says for the derivation. Here it is. Here's the line. On my line, Rabbi Eliezer. Oh, it's my line. 1 second. Let's get this good here. 1 second. Let's see what they're doing. On my line, Rabbi Akiva. Top line on page 66. Rabbi Akiva said to him.
He says to him, or in the country, if chazah, which is forbidden in Shavuos, does not override Shabbos, then the shechita, which is normally forbidden on account of labor, it is not logical that it does not override the Shabbos.
Okay, so let's give the background to this. If people are, let's say, there is a lot of, during Pesach, when we read a lot of sections from the Chumash about Pesach, one section is very descriptive and definite on what happens if a lot of the people are defiled. How are they defiled? They're in the army. If they kill a lot of people, they are tamei. Are they allowed to do the sacrifice when they're tamei?
The answer is no.
If most of the congregation is tamei, the answer is yes. If only certain people are defiled, a few soldiers, or it says either they're defiled or possibly they're away, so they can't get back to the temple in time. So there's a special reading of the Torah that describes these people are allowed to make a sacrifice 1 month later. Excellent. But now we're doing a Pesach Rishon, and now we have a gentleman. I don't know. Let him imagine him to be here, sitting here, and he said, "I am possibly a Mitzayro, or I just touched a dead body." So the procedure is that on the 3rd and the 7th day, they sprinkle upon him from the red heifer. Now, if his 7th day is Shabbat, do we sprinkle upon him or not? I don't know, but okay. This was a debate between Rabbi Eliezer, me, and you. I maintain